No, would you please, sir, you're going to have to leave. Sir. Hey, sir, can I please have the police take care of this quickly? Also, the individual in the back. The individual in the back also, please.
America has messed up the rest of the world even worse than what it's done in this country.
The individual in the back also.
Is a fascist. The Democrats are war criminals.
Hey.
The Democrats are war criminals. What it's done in this country.
The individual in the back also.
Is a fascist. The Democrats are war criminals.
Hey.
So he doesn't like anybody.
Hey, Miss Bailey, the gentleman in the back, everybody that was causing unrest, and the gentleman here, thank you so much. Would you leave too, Miss Bailey? And then whoever else was yelling needs to go, please.
This lady right here.
Glenda, I'd like you to go first, please.
You fucking know.
Somebody got snitched on.
You're going to ask me to leave. This lady needs.
Whoever outburst, I'm going to ask you to leave, please.
Such language. Thanks for tuning in to Dirty Laundry Media. It's your man online, Bill Money, tapping in. And tonight, I'm going to react to what you see on the screen here. This was the Springfield, Ohio City Commission meeting. This was from yesterday, October 8th, 2024. And we're going to dive right in, get into some of these public comments. You know, I'm enjoying observing these meetings. It's kind of a microcosm of what's going on in America today in politics, where you see the political appointed or elected political officials blatantly going against the will of the people who elected them to serve. And I see this going on every level. And it's kind of a blight on local politics. The saying always goes that all politics are local. In some kind of way, it seems that local politics have been infiltrated. It's been my contention that you have outside influences, outside money that has figured out a way to control local politics, the judicial system, judges, district attorneys, and the like. And one name comes to mind, George Soros. But I do have some content that focuses on that. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Like, subscribe to this, my channel, like this video, and leave comments down below if you can relate to any of this. And I like to get it out again because there's so much misinformation being put forth by the liberal media. I'm trying to divert attention away from what the people who live in Springfield are actually experiencing and who have been expressing to their elected officials for well over a year, to my knowledge. So let's get right into it.
Beginning with Melissa Skinner, 924 Grant Street. If you'd like to go to the podium, please.
So as I stand before you tonight, I'm excited to see what solutions have happened from 2 weeks ago. I do have say that I appreciate the areas the State Patrol has been helped out issue. As I stand before you tonight, I want to say our youth issues are very important. I am not sure that if we cannot even have a high school football game without half our law enforcement having to go to the center for them. I believe the juvenile system is good and we need that under control. I am all for having somewhere for the kids to go, but it has to start with home. And if they get in trouble, then we need a system that is working so they become good adults. I am still waiting from 2 weeks ago for an answer as to the number for the victim's advocate and where we stand on new charges for the youth on the four-wheeler so the victim can get help. Last, I do care about our homeless and what will happen to them. I know some may not want help, some maybe do and don't know where to go or how to get it. To say they need to get a job, shame on you. Our poor pantries and shelters need to keep going to help. Not just the homeless, but our people on fixed incomes that are trying to survive. I pray a plan is coming together for this issue. Next is our veterans. They are important as well. They gave all for us and programs and help needs to be in place and stay for them. To say that issue isn't important is shameful as well. We have a Veterans Affairs office in the city and they do a great job. It's okay to be passionate about an issue, but to say that someone else's is not right. We all have things to bring to the table that's important. I pray that our city can move in a direction this evening to stop the nonsense of blaming MS, T, and JV, etc., to name a few. I pray we can start with people who are renting and making a killing off people who are allowing them to drive a car without proper license and insurance, to hold people accountable for the things that they are doing to break the law and let punishment fit the crime. For our health services to be safe, for the doctors and nurses and others, despite the things that are not being reported to our health department. We need to get our services help, and they need it. How will we know what the money from the governor is going for? I believe the sarcastic comments and speeches and silly things that happened last meeting do not help solve any issues. The city government needs to get it together to solve some serious issues and stand up for the citizens that you swore that you would protect. The people of this city deserve it. I believe if you can all turn some things around, you will see that motto, forward together and stronger together, happen and move the city in a mighty direction for our future.
Thank you, Ms. Skinner. Robert Spinell.
Okay, that was a pretty decent start to the festivities on yesterday evening. She didn't really go into specifics as far as names, people, places, and things. She mentioned people driving, perhaps with no driver's licenses and causing accidents and such. And there has been an uptick in car or accident related fatalities in Springfield. I think they're up by fourfold over the last year. So that is definitely an issue. And in some cases, the Haitian migrants are, involved in accidents and being allowed to walk away or drive away from the scene of an accident. Sometimes with not so much as a ticket, from what I'm hearing. I did hope to have Masika back on with me tonight. Maybe we'll get her back on in a day or so. But yeah, so it's definitely an issue, and insurance rates are skyrocketing for what I understand. So, these are issues, and these are pertinent issues that are being ignored.
921 Gothic Street, please take the podium.
A few weeks ago, Governor gave money to the city to help with law enforcement and services that we needed in the city. Instead of the highway patrol, which won't be here forever, why have we not taken that money and put it into hiring more police, more fire, and more EMT? You wanted this to be a big city, you're getting it. But we don't have the services for it. Our side streets, why are they not being repaired? You've got potholes all throughout the city, but you don't do anything to fix the problem. Rent is out of control. We have people in tent cities, children that don't have a home to go to. And yet, you guys don't seem to be doing anything. I don't see anything going on. You got money, you can get money from the federal government and the state. Why don't you get it and invest it in the city? You all took an oath to take care of this city, to serve us. Like the Constitution says, it's for the people. And another thing I would like to say, and I'll address this out. I'm tired of the hate groups coming to Springfield from the left and the right. We can do this in this city with the right resources. We don't need outside people coming in and causing the problems that they do.
Thank you. Helen Brown, 4210 East National Road.
And who are these mysterious
Helen Brown?
outside people?
Melanie Stacy, 300 Enon Road.
Short, sorry. I basically just had a couple questions. And I had one comment from the last meeting. There was a gentleman that got up here and spoke about the homelessness and said that basically they just need to get a job. The homeless demographic in the city and the county is changing. And a lot of it has to do with the housing issue. And I know we need housing and it's not there, but it is changing. And that I've heard stories directly from this person that there's a woman and her 4 kids that are now living in tents in their car because they got kicked out of their housing. Their lease that they'd had for years went month to month, and they didn't realize that they could be given a 30-day notice to leave so that they could rent that property for a lot more money. And that's sad. And just for someone to get up here and tell them just to get a job, this lady has a job, but right now her job can't support her and her 4 kids for an affordable housing rate here. And that's really sad. The next thing I want to say is related to the housing is I know that Mark Sanders a couple months ago got up here.
So the migrants are doing two things. And let me just say the illegal immigrants are doing two things. They're driving down wages and they're driving up the cost of housing. And then consequently, the black male incarceration rate will increase as a result. This is scientific fact.
He gave, I think, Rob, you an assignment about checking into certain addresses. And there was one address I think you even verified that had maybe 60 people living in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. Are we doing anything if we're finding out about these houses that have all these people living in what should be?
So they live in 15 to a unit. Ridiculous.
Single family dwellings. Are you guys able to go out and do anything about it? You know, we've heard stories about people renting by the bed, not even by the house, people renting by the bed. And now I heard that they're renting by the shift of beds. There's so much need for housing that they're renting and the people are having to leave with their backpacks to go to their jobs and then come back and share that bed with somebody else. And that just seems absolutely ludicrous to me. So I just have that question there. Also, I know Crystal, with all of the controversy that's happening, there was a gentleman that came and spoke, I don't remember his name, from the Haitian Community Center. And you were going to go, I thought, and speak with them to see if we could get some kind of a bridge going and how that they can better assimilate. And then we can also, the citizens, do our part as well. Like, did you get a chance to go? I don't know if you did or not. And I know you're busy. I know you guys have a lot going on with threats and protests and everything else going on. But I was just curious if that had happened yet. The next thing I had is, I know Governor DeWine and even John Legend has gone on record saying that that a lot of the immigrants have come here for employment. You know, do we have that many jobs available? You know, do we have 20 to 30,000 jobs? And I know that there's also a big number about how many immigrants are really here. I know, I think, Brian Heck, I saw a letter that maybe you sent out in July to Sharon Brown and others saying you thought then that the number was 15 to 20,000. And if that's the case, obviously we're way higher than 20,000 now, even though I know some things that are still.
And just a side note, a lot of times when you hear, oh, these immigrants work the jobs that Americans don't want to work. It's not that Americans don't want to work these jobs. It's just that these jobs, first of all, they don't pay a livable wage in many instances. And not only that, these employers don't want to spend the dollars or allocate the resources to upgrade their facilities. So a lot of times in these processing plants and things like that, they're working with antiquated technology. And American citizens, we know our rights. We'll call OSHA, we'll complain, and we'll make sure that things are operating safely, and we'll demand a fair wage. These are things that illegal immigrants will not do. They'll work under inhumane conditions, and they won't complain because they're fearful of being deported. So they are being taken advantage of. Tell these companies to spend the money to upgrade their facilities and pay a living wage.
Being put out say that it's 15. So I think that having proper numbers could really also help. You know, it doesn't do anybody any good to get false numbers out there. And
you can't dump 25,000 illegal immigrants who many don't speak the language, don't know the culture, don't know the laws, the mores and the values of the communities that you're dumping them in, and it's going to cause a cultural conflict. And 25,000 immigrants over 3 years into a city with a population of about 60,000 is ridiculous. It's insane.
Last question is FEMA. We just got back from North Carolina. We took 2 loads of supplies down. So I know that FEMA's in the news, and everyone's saying that FEMA's taking money from the victims down there and giving these immigrants. I've looked into the FEMA situation, and I do know that FEMA has funds for the immigration problem. I've seen they've given funds to cities under certain programs, and Denver, New York City, Atlanta. I know those are a lot bigger than Springfield, but they are giving grants to cities, not state cities. Are we? Why haven't we applied? Can we apply? They did 2 disbursements this year. The first disbursement, they had funds left over that weren't even awarded because they didn't have enough applicants. So, you know, New York City got $20 million. Can Springfield, Ohio get this money? You know, it's available to help with immigration, with the immigrants coming here to help them have safe harbor. So I'd like to hear anything that you know about that. And then my final statement is, you know, I worked here in the city for 15 years. We bought property we're building here in Springfield. And it's pretty sad some days that as citizens that we can't express our concerns without being called racist. I'm an empath. I'm a Christian. I feel deeply for the immigrants coming into the city. I understand they want.
And you know, a person shouldn't have to qualify by saying how they care about such and such to prove how authentic they are, and trying to express that this is not hate, that they're communicating, you know, that they're concerned citizens and they see things not going right and they're using the public forum, which has been granted to them, to make their grievances known. And it is patently unfair to characterize people as xenophobic or racist for merely complaining about conditions. You know, if their comments are not racist or derogatory, then how can you characterize somebody as a racist or a xenophobe when you're just a law-abiding citizen wondering why laws aren't being adhered to? So let's go ahead and hear her out, but I know where she's going with this.
A better life, and I wish that for them, but their chance of having a better life should not come at the expense of your citizens that are already here.
Thank you, Melanie, for your comments. I want to encourage people that are asking questions and spending time to make statements for 3 minutes that we're actively listening and to please stay. We will have answers following all the comments. Mike Lowe, 1537 Brook Hollow.